Does JB Weld actually work? I'm going to show you how I repaired this swing arm, which was quite rusty, with JB Weld, and here's a quick look at how it looked once I restored it. So this is a test to see if this works. I would recommend getting a new swing arm, actually, not repairing it, but because of the test and I can do it, I thought, let's try and see what happens. There's two different types of JB Weld. You get the weld for high temperature for like exhaust manifolds, and you've got the putty type stuff for joining together. So let's have a look at the part that I'm trying to work this on and see if it is repairable. So what I did do is I took off all the rust. I found the spot and found if it was solid. I used a metal just to prong it to see if there's any rust, any surface rust. So I got rid of all of the rust and then left behind the main bits. So it was still sound. The outer surround was rusted, but the actual pipes itself were still structurally integrate. So what I thought is, integral part of the bike, so you need to get a new one really. But I thought, I've got JB Weld here, let's see what this can do and see if it works. So what we did is we removed all the little bits, we checked it out, and then we started working on the JB Weld. So what happens here is JB Weld is designed to actually help make a strong adhesion. The original cold weld is a two-component epoxy system, so it's like a mixture of substitutes that you need to add together, and it stops you having to torch weld. Is it any good though? I think the rating on it is like something like a tensile strength of 3960 psi, so it sets a hard bond overnight and it can withstand temperatures of up to 550 Fahrenheit when fully cured. So the main thing here is making sure that it is cured and you leave it long enough. So what I'm really doing is looking at this to see if it works well for us. When you mix it together, I'm using the actual putty one, which comes in a tube. So I took it out of the tube and then I looked at a small amount just to test it. I did already test some of it on a different system and it worked very well. So I'm actually doing this again. So I'm cutting it out. It's quite a hard, tough putty. And what you would do with it is you kind of cut it through and you'll see the inner core of it is like a white color and outer core is like gray. So once you've cut through it, you need to mix it together, and you can just do that in your hands. You can either just it's like blue tack basically. Just keep mixing it together, and once it gets mixed together, you'll start feeling it getting a bit more soft. If it's a cold day out, then it is going to be hard. But as you get the temperature into it, like when I say temperature, I'm just talking like a hand warmth of the hand. And you'll see here it's quite stiff at the moment, but as you go through it, it gets softer and softer like a blue tack. And then you would normally use it around gaps on exhausts and manifolds. However, I thought, why don't I try it on the rear bit here on the swing arm and see if that works for me. So you would have seen in the last episode, I'm restoring a Honda CB motorcycle, and it's a really old motorcycle. And I've taken the frame apart, I've resprayed and repainted sections of it, which is coming soon. But while I got to this bit, I thought, let me just have a look at the actual swing arm and see if it's repairable. So we're using this here. You can see real time how long I'm spending with actually mixing the putty together. So it's like a good 50-60 seconds, a minute of mixing. And then you can start filling in the actual gaps or areas that you want to stop water getting into. So the main issue here is it is integral, the main structure. It's just the gaps are letting water and fluid get in and they're staying there, which is kind of making it rust longer. So with this, what will happen is if I can make this smooth, then that will stop any water coming into it, and I will paint over it. You can spray or paint over this once it's cured, and I did leave it overnight to actually cure. So that was a nice little addition to making it get back ready for us. So you can see here I used a bit of water just to smooth it over so it was easier to sand once I got through the main sections of it. So I used a bit of oil on the top as a final slippery kind of covering just to smooth it out and get it into the gap. And then you can see on the other side I did the same thing and just worked it through. And you can see here quickly what that looks like. So there's a few spots there that just had little holes in, and I covered them over nicely with the JB Weld, and then I just tapped along to see if there's any other spots that I missed. Here's a quick update on the actual frame that's been painted as well. So if you're following the last episode, you saw a quick little sneak peek there. Now, gave it one coat, I let it dry overnight, and I felt just to see if that was solid, and it was solid. So the paint coat will need to go above this, and I was sanding it as well, so I made it smooth enough so we can add another coat of paint. I wanted it to be kind of but I wanted to see how it would look once it's painted. And you can see here sanding it is just the case of using it as you would normally do. I use like I think 100 grit sandpaper just to smooth it off, to get rid of any lumps and make it nice and smooth. So if any water comes on there, it just dribbles off the surface, which stops it going into the metal, which then rusts the metal further. So if it's gone too much, I don't think I would recommend this for strength. As in, if like you're joining two parts together, this putty is not great for that. But filling up gaps, actually this worked pretty well. I have got the other mix anyway for the welding, where you weld two bits together, so I'll test that separately and see if that's a good option, especially if you're thinking about getting JB Weld for strength, in terms of joining strength. But yeah, as you sand this over, you can see that it works nicely and easily. And again, this is a real-time sanding situation, which does mean as you sand it, you will see little bits coming off, and that actually shows that it's very hard. It's like little bits coming off. So overall, I was pleased with the JB Weld and it worked well. I will test it over time to see how it works. I'm doing a bit of a restoration. I've got another swing arm already here, but you can see that I've painted it and it looked actually pretty good. If you're enjoying this series, make sure to subscribe so you actually get notifications directly to your phone each time I load a new episode. I've got loads of videos planned for this bike when we get it back on the road, so it'd be good to have you along on the journey with me. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video right here.